everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to
Well,
Building Wednesday.
The day after Halloween edition for moms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we survived Halloween.
We did.
Hopefully you guys too.
Yeah.
This is Naz. Jana and Naz.
See what I mean? This is Naz.
I don't even
I'm
have
Jana.
I don't even have an excuse today. I don't have Coco. Yeah, I'm distracted. Anyway, so
We wanted to go through this week's question.
yes.
Right, and we hope you all had a really lovely, healthy, safe Halloween, and lots of good candy was collected by all the kiddos, and I'm grateful for last night.
Yes.
But I do feel
we
not
need
as
a day
quickly
off.
on point, yeah, as I normally am. So, but we wanted to answer your questions, and we're committed to coming to you guys every Wednesday to help you structure a more financially secure life around building an investment in real estate for yourself as you go along, taking baby steps to get there.
Yes.
No pressure. Nothing scary, just you can do this and we're here to help you is the drive behind why we get together every Wednesday to do this chat with you.
And answering all your questions.
Yeah.
We got so many amazing questions that came into us. And so here we are, I guess, rewinding again and going back into HELOC.
HELOCs, yeah, because
Yeah.
we talked about them last week and then we have a lot of follow-up questions. And feel free to ask any questions during the live and we'll cover them here for you and or ask us later.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable asking a question later person, so I totally get the questions throughout the week.
Yeah.
But the portion, I'm the lender, she's the realtor.
Yes.
So we're both real estate investors, but a HELOC or a home equity line of credit was something that we discussed last week. And it's a way to access equity that you have in your house to either pay down high interest credit card that you might have spent over the last year. That seems to be kind of a common theme right now. Secondly, you can improve your house, redo your kitchen, put a pool in the backyard. You can help pay for education for yourself to better your life, send one of your kids to college. Lots of uses for HELOCs. But the question specifically was, can you continue to draw? And HELOCs are a product that are varied in the market, and we have lots of options for you that can help you achieve your goals. Yep. And as I work and as Naz works, we always want to find out what you want to accomplish. Where do you want to go? And then we're going to take the selection, the myriad of options that are out in the marketplace for you and find the perfect fit. Yep. So there are variable HELOCs, which by mean the interest rate will vary according to what the prime rate is. Yes. They have caps, so it's not going to wildly adjust out of control. You'll know kind of your worst case scenario for a monthly payment based on what balance you have drawn out of that HELOC. And so those can be 10-year draws, 15-year draws, 30-year draws. It's pace it how you want it, but if you are looking to keep the payment small, you want to look for the longest repayment portion there, and I can help you do that. And then we also have a really quick HELOC that funds in 5 to 7 days. The entire balance of the HELOC gets funded on the day of closing. So on that 5th day or on that 7th day, if you're trying to buy a home or whatever you're doing with the funds, you'll have it, the entire amount in your pocket. If you repay and then want to redraw, we'd have to look at that closely because some things adjust for you on that product. But in essence, most HELOCs are set up to kind of be an ongoing cash account for you where you can borrow, pay back, and borrow again throughout a draw period, which varies across the products.
Yeah, but also keep in mind, because I do get asked a lot, there is an interest rate that goes on that HELOC. So it's kind of like it's kind of like you're borrowing money from your home on the account that your home has that value attached to it. So the best advice when people are like, oh, should we, use our HELOC for, paying down our credit cards or anything like that? It makes sense to do that if you're trying to repair your credit score, or if you're looking to purchase another home. But I would not use that HELOC to purchase a car.
Or clothing.
Or something like that, or like be smart.
A depreciating asset.
Be smart with that amount of money. So if you have medical issues and you're using your home as a bank, go for it.
Yeah.
But don't go out and buy a car, or don't go out and spending money. I guess your HELOC, because people's like, oh, we have that much money now, we can do. No, be smart about it, because
Yeah.
you are still getting charged interest, and you want to pay that interest off as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're in Vegas,
Yeah.
so you can't go
Please
put it on
don't-
red. I won't let you. I'll follow you around.
don't gamble that money.
No, that's not what we're here for. That's
Yeah.
not what we're trying to help you do,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So Naz mentioned, I said it was free, and she said free too. So it is a tax-free device.
Yes.
Which is lovely, because if you sell your home and don't immediately invest that again in another primary, then you've got some tax liability there. But the HELOC, you won't get taxed by the feds on it, so that's nice. And then the interest rate, which was also part of the question,
Yes.
was that they do trend higher than a primary or your home that you live in, the market rates that are given for that day. HELOC rates trend higher because it is a second lien. So it just is a higher interest rate product, but it's much, much lower on average, depending on everyone's individual scenario, lower than a credit card score.
Yes.
Or interest rate that you
Yeah.
have, which, if you want to open your bill and look at it
Yeah.
and feel nauseous after it, you can, but it's shocking, and those are on the rise too.
Yeah.
So it's a tool that can help really manage your life, and as long as you have a true plan and are responsible with its usage, it's a fantastic product.
Yeah.
Any
Just be smart.
Yeah, just
That's
be
the
smart.
only advice.
Yeah.
And have a plan why you're using it, because it is
Yeah.
higher interest rate. It is basically you're taking a loan against your home.
Yeah.
So there's so many variables. Please discuss with your lender
Yeah.
and your realtor as to what steps you are planning to use that fund for.
Yes.
I always say, if you are planning to grow your portfolio in sense of like investing in another property, it makes sense to do that. But it does not for buying a car or
Yep.
gambling or anything else. Or if you need it for medical, I completely understand as well. So that's why we purchase homes, to use it as leverage or equity to purchase or to help your family stabilize.
Yes, stabilization
Stabilize,
is
yeah.
the goal.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then there was another question in the sense of, I believe, so I'll continue. Do you have anything for HELOC? Anything else you want to add?
From the lender side, just going to update
Okay.
that the Fed is keeping interest rates the same as of today.
Yeah.
So shouldn't see too much volatility around that. Chairman Powell is keeping it the same. That was the big news that we were all waiting for today.
I did get asked, that someone DM'd me and asked me, is the Fed the government? So the answer to that is no. They are...
a central bank that
They have nothing
it's
to
an
do with the
advisory
government.
committee.
Exactly.
I think how you should best think of it. It's an
Yeah.
advisory committee of folks that look at global money movement, and then
The global economics, basically.
globally look at
Yeah.
the global economic theme or
Yeah.
feeling or plans. I can't think of a word today.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But and then they make decisions
Yeah.
based on. The purpose is
Yeah.
to be making decisions based on what's best for the health of that economy and for the citizens in it. And there's been, people are always happy with the Fed, not
Yeah.
happy with the Fed, and we don't need to get too deep into that, but it's not a governmental entity. It's a central bank that is an advisory panel.
Yeah. And they don't get permission from the government. They don't do anything. They just advise, and then
Yeah.
they perform the way they're supposed to. Keep in mind, when the inflation is high, which it is right now, usually interest rate goes high as well. So it goes hand in hand. If people are like, oh, why is the interest rate so high? That's basically it, because we're in an inflation.
Yeah.
There's also, it's so many categories, and that's like layers and layers and layers of understanding it, because it has not only has to do with balancing the economy and everything along those lines, but it also has to do with employment. It has to do with so much. Basically, so a lot of people are like, oh, there's so many job openings. Oh, there's this. It's because we're in a seasonal category right now. Christmas is coming around. So there is definitely going to be a lot more openings. So it's also, like we discussed, the employment percentage is tracked incorrectly right now because of those openings. So there's so many layers to understanding why the Fed's rates are high. There's too many things that go into play for that reason.
It's pretty complex for
Very
a
complex.
live where we talk about
So,
real estate investing,
yeah.
I think. But
So-
it's basically he's setting the overnight rate
Correct.
for what banks lend each other money on. And then the market responds to that. And then mortgage rates are set based off of what the market are doing and the treasury notes are doing. You could really do a PhD on the Fed alone. So let's see, like 4 years, at least 2 years. Yeah, I mean, 10 years of study on the Fed. But it's an interesting topic, and if it's something that you have interest in, you don't have to have any knowledge of what the Fed is doing to buy homes and build wealth for yourself, right? You have to make decisions based on the results of the interest rates, and is that a good time to buy, or can I afford this home right now, or do I need to make an adjustment? Really waiting. We can go into deep data with you, and we do have a home buyer seminar coming up.
Yes.
That we're going to go through historic data that shows only the recession in 08 is when home prices backtracked. Every other one, we stayed stable or increased. So when we say, is it a good time to buy? For me, it's always a good time to buy.
Correct.
It's, can you comfortably invest right now and carry that payment? Because we would never put you in a negative situation where you would lose credit rating and be stressed. It's not fun to run around stressed.
And keep in mind, when you're purchasing a property, unless you're flipping, if you're purchasing a property, it's going to be a long-term investment. So if you're going to panic, like, oh my God, there's going to be a crash coming, People have been saying this to me since 2014, 2015. There's going to be a crash. And I'm like, we're still waiting. Like, there's going to be adjustments, yes, but not a crash. I don't see it dropping significantly. But then again, no one has a crystal ball.
Yeah.
So the trend is like, you're going to be holding on to this property for at least like 10 to 15 years. And if there's an emergency, or if you have to sell the property, then you would sell it and use that fund for, whatever you have to do. It just makes sense. Right now is a crucial time because yes, the interest rate is high, but if you are renting, as I keep saying, you're paying 100% of someone else's mortgage. So if you're going to pay 8% and start panicking, I believe in like 1998, if I'm not mistaken, the interest rates were around the 90s. The interest rate was like 18% and people were still buying. Yes, the home prices were a lot lower, but you have to realize like people were still purchasing at that time. So if it's at 8%, it's still worth it because you're going to be securing your future. You can use, once you have enough equity, you're going to be using that HELOC to purchase something else, or use as the bank basically. So absolutely. That's very crucial. So that's why I want to clarify regarding HELOC, regarding feds they have nothing to do with the governments. They're their own independent central banking system.
Which seems like it should be absolutely government, but
it's not.
It's not. So one thing about equity too, that I think I was having a chat with somebody about this weekend, is that you have equity growth, and this year they projected that our equity growth nationally across the board was going to be 4.3%. It's kind of backslid a little bit. They're like, well, maybe it's 3.7, somewhere in the threes, right? We haven't closed the year out. We'll see how it goes. But they're projecting it to come in lower than their initial projection. But here's the thing. So let's say you have a home for $400,000 and you went in buying that as a primary. You needed 5% down, so you needed $20,000 in the door, right? So you're not making 4% interest, or you're not gaining equity 4% on your 20. You're gaining 4% on the value of the home, that $400,000. So it's really, I think you'd be hard pressed to find another investment format that allows you.
Leaving your money in your bank is making them money. It's not making you money.
Especially this year.
This year. Like if you were like, oh, I have like 500,000 whatever in my bank account. I don't know if you do or not. I'm just giving a weird example. But if you have that much money, and I guarantee you the bank is using that money to purchase other, like giving out line of credit. Or they're using that money for doing something else.
HELOCs for sure.
To increase their basically interest rates coming in. So why aren't you? So use your funds or use your money to build your equity. And then you can use your home as your own bank. So money in a bank is no good in my
Yeah.
eyes. In my eyes, it's no good.
Yeah. And I think I want to do a budgeting class too.
That would be good.
Yeah, so if
Yeah.
you guys are interested in that, message
DM
Naz
us.
and myself too, and
Yeah.
let us know, because we are going to do a home buyer seminar where we deep dive into some of these topics and a lot of the questions that we get that we
Yeah.
can't cover in the short live period.
Yeah.
But
Because we do our live for 30 minutes, and that helps with all the questions that we get asked during the week, and we answer them. So if you have any questions, ask us or DM us and let us know if you are interested in more wealth building details like spreadsheets and like budgetings
Yeah.
and stuff like that. We can definitely hold a class on that separately, like a Zoom class,
Oh, yeah.
and we can go into that. Yeah. So we want to build your wealth long term, not short term.
yeah. Yeah, but with the new year coming, I think budgeting would be
Yes.
kind of a good fresh start.
Yes.
If you are renting right now, especially, like, let's get you prepped to be ready to buy
Yeah.
as soon as you possibly can comfortably.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah.
So there is going to be a closing fee as well attached to that, closing costs, because just like the
Oh,
ruling that
With the
happened.
investment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So yeah, there will be a closing cost and everything like that that will be on top of your
The
down
$20,000
payment.
down payment.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all in the door on that scenario, you would likely walk in with $32,000.
Correct.
So
Give or take, depending on the price of the
I
home.
did exaggerate
Yeah,
a little bit.
yeah.
But yeah, closing costs, if it's discount points, are tax deductible.
Correct.
So there's so many. This is why we have to get one-on-one and really
Yeah.
talk about what you want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
This is
correct.
like general information. Once we
Yeah.
sit down and actually crunch numbers with you guys, the information depends. Like it could go high or low depending on
Yeah.
price point of the home, what you're looking for, area, everything. It all depends.
Yeah,
Yeah, and which plan works best for you.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you have any
I have
questions?
one more.
Yeah, go
one
for
more.
it.
Okay,
Go for it.
So I believe now, as we're leaving the summer season, we're going into that winter season. If you are a buyer that has less funds
Mm-hmm.
than you need to close, we can always look at down payment assistance programs for you. But also, I believe it's a good time to start watching homes. Remember, you don't have to have your dream home when you start out.
Yeah.
But look for homes that have had a little bit of length on the market, over 30 days, 60 days, over 60 days, I think would be
Yeah.
an easier conversation. But starting to ask for seller credits that we could use as a temporary buy down on your rate. So we still have to qualify you, which is consumer protective, that protects you from being in a sticky situation. But the interest rate in a 2-1 buy down, for instance, would be 2 points lower than the going rate on the year one,
Yep.
1 point interest rate lower on year two, and then go up to, let's say the interest rate that you qualified for was 8%. So year one in this scenario, you're going to be paying a 6% interest rate. Year two, you're going to be paying 7%, and on year three, it's going to adjust up to 8%. Now, we qualify you on that 8% rate to make sure that if interest rates haven't gone down, we haven't been able to refinance you, you don't want to refi because you're busy doing something else, whatever it is, you're comfortable in that payment. That's part of what wasn't done in the years coming up to 2008 that caused the housing crash back then, actually.
The ripple effect.
Yeah, the bubble, that big bubble that burst.
Yeah.
So we want to be really responsible and do so. But if you look at trends, rates are expected to go down, and we should be able to refinance you.
Yeah.
But the wonderful thing is that it would be coming from the seller as an incentive to pick that particular home of the homes that are available to you on the market that you qualify for. So I think it's a really great tool to, as we kind of all bundle up, even out here in Vegas, it's chilly today for
Yeah.
us, to start looking at, let's take advantage of seller credits, and working with Naz as your realtor, being the amazing negotiator that she is and relationship builder, she can help us get the most, where it's a win-win for everybody involved.
Yeah. And keep in mind, like, I've had a few clients of mine saying, hey, we can offer, $40,000 less, or we can offer this, and ask for a seller's credit and ask for this. Like, guys, let's be realistic. If you were selling your home and someone brought an offer to you that's asking for like 40,000 discounts or price drop, plus on top of that asking for a 3-2-1 buy down, plus asking for, you know, a refrigerator with washer and dryer, you're asking that seller to basically cut off their arms and legs and everything like that and give it to you on a platter. So let's just be realistic. Yes, there are negotiation tactics and stuff that we can use to help both sides be win-win situation. But I will set the ground rules, where in the sense I'll explain to you, okay, this is what we can do, this is what, let me call the listing agent and discuss further, because that seller might need that fund to pay medical bills. They you know, have to sell that property because they have to put their kids to school. There could be millions of reasons, so we cannot just assume like, oh, the sellers made, you know, they purchased the property 10 years ago for like 300,000 and now they're selling for 800,000, so they're making a lot of money. You don't know what the seller's going through, so let's just not assume, and let's just make it like a fair, you know, negotiation for both parties.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
And the seller knows the value of their home.
Correct.
They're working with a realtor like Naz that spent a lot of time going over all the recent sale data and had given them a really fair value from the home. If it's a home that's been on the market for a long time and it's in great condition, then maybe Naz could show the seller's agent that, hey, this is actually where we think the true value.
And I do that. I do that. I always so before I even so once you've selected a home and you're like, Naz, this is the home we want to put an offer in, I say, let's not get too excited, let me run comps. The first thing I do is run comps. The second thing I do is talk to the seller's agent. Sales. Correct. Oh, sorry. Comps are comparable sales. So recent homes that have sold around the similar area, similar square feet, similar bedrooms. There's like a whole layer to running good comparative market analysis. And that's what I do with every buyer, basically. So I don't want you to, like, just because they're asking for like 800,000, that doesn't mean that's their home value. So I do my own comps and then I send it over to you. While I send it over to you, I'm talking to the seller's agent, finding out information like what made your seller list their home, and asking, basically doing my interview and finding out more details. And then from there, I contact you, communicate with you further, and then I'm like, okay, so this is the price range. Are you comfortable offering this? At that point, we discuss further. Okay, yes, let's, you know, I spoke to the seller's agent. They will, you know, present our offer if we submit like a 3-2-1 buy down. So I discuss a lot before I come back to you to write an offer. If you want to see 10 homes and you want to write an offer on all 10 homes, sure, I can do that. But chances of getting accepted offer is going to be very slim because I'm just writing an offer and submitting it. Unless you are like serious, then we sit down and we go into details and stuff like that. The best plan of action is to always have a plan when you're submitting an offer.
For sure.
Yeah, you don't want to submit a blind offer. So that's
prepared.
Be all prepared. The more prepared you are, the better it is. And then you have to realize, okay, how long am I going to stay in this property for? How, like, you know, what? Another question I get asked a lot is, do you know if the area is up and coming? Do you know this? Guys, I can give you only so much as I know. Vegas is constantly changing. Like driving down, all I'm seeing is construction, roads getting changed, hotels getting added. So it's constantly changing. I would always recommend people to go on the Clark County Assessor's Office website or go down on your city website. Las Vegas has its own city website where they actually have plans drawn out of what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years, sometimes even 20 years. And then same with Henderson and stuff like that. So every information that I have, you guys have too. So I would say research on your own is best, and then you are aware of what's coming up, what's the plan in the near future and stuff like that.
That's really good advice.
Yeah, so that's because maybe I have some old information. I'd just rather you do your own research on that aspect of things.
There's also fair housing laws that you have to be mindful of, right?
Yeah.
So,
I don't want to give out like, oh, this area is, like, I never do that.
Yeah.
You pick and choose which area you want to go into, and then I show you those homes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My neighborhood, I have a big master plan community that I live in, and not everybody loves my neighborhood. I always try to talk people into my neighborhood, but it's not for everybody. So you're going to find, Naz is going to show you a myriad of homes. You're going to start dialing in onto what neighborhood you feel best in.
Correct.
And some people think my neighborhood is like too much or something. It's too whatever.
I love it.
I think it's super cute.
It's each to their own. Like
Yeah.
some people prefer schooling. Some
Yeah.
people want their kids into certain schools and stuff. So
Yeah.
there's layers on picking which area you want. Most of my buyers already know which area they want, and they're like, hey, can you just look into this zip codes or this area specifically? I want it to be around the school zone. And so, that's fine. And then my out of town clients that coming in, especially from California, they're looking for investment. So they're like, okay, so which area is highly, where would we be able to get the most for our money? Yeah. So there's a lot of layers that go into searching for homes. So that's basically it. That's why I have like a buyer questionnaire. That's why we sit down and we have buyer consultations. Yeah. There's so much that we need to do prior to like, hey, Naz, let's go looking for homes. No, we go through a lot of layers. Plus getting pre-approved, as we discussed, is very
super
important.
Simple, super easy, but so critical to start there.
Yeah.
When I say too much about my neighborhood, it's too much kid-wise for some of the people that come to me for pre-approvals. Because I love the bike paths, all the festivals, all of the kid-centric, family-focused stuff. But people that don't have kids are like, that's too much.
Yeah.
And last night, trying to get home from one trunk or treat event to trick or treat, I could see that it was a little too much. But I get it.
Oh, wow.
But that's why you have your ownership of your own decisions, and Naz is just here to help you make an educated one. So within fair housing laws.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And you can always check, if you're worried about an area that you love, you fall in love with the house, but the house next to it is in disrepair, you can also look at crime data around the neighborhood too.
Do your own research.
Yes.
Do your own research. Don't come asking me those questions because I will tell you do your own research.
Yeah, because she's beholden. By the law.
So another important question that I got, why use a realtor during buy or sale?
Yeah.
Guys, this literally, I'm not even kidding you. This happened around COVID time, like 2021. And I had a buyer of mine that came from California, and they're like, oh well, so I go through my process. So you sign a buyer brokerage agreement, and then I send you to a lender to get pre-approved and stuff like that. And then once you get the pre-approval, then we go out looking for homes. So they had signed the buyer brokerage agreement. We met, everything was smooth, and then they found a home on Zillow during the pre-approval process. And so they found the home on Zillow, and then they called me a day later, and they're like, hey, we found the perfect home. We're ready. We're going to go to the bank and wire, $10,000. And I'm like, wait, what? Please clarify this information with me. And they're like, well, the person put their home on Zillow for sale or something, or some website. I don't know which website, but it was for sale by owner. And I'm like, okay, well, that's perfect. I'm so happy for you guys, but could you just send me the address? Because I want to confirm the home is actually getting sold by the homeowner and not by someone else. Come to find out, it was not the homeowner. It was actually a rented property. And so I just say, so it was like tenant who was trying to like sell and quick leave, or I don't know what they were trying to do. It was very sticky business and asked for $10,000 for earnest money deposit. Guys, very important. Selling your home or buying your home, use a professional realtor. You do not want to get scammed. There are so many ways you will get scammed. We're here for your due diligence period. We're here to make sure the offer goes smoothly. You have a stress-free process. Also, another reason is because let's say something goes wrong, or there could be a million things that could go wrong that you would not expect it going wrong. And I have so many examples.
What about the new build? That's what I thought you were going to say.
Not the new, but
the nailing on the stairs.
So the
new
construction.
Yeah.
So the new construction, also another thing that they ended up doing. I will never say which builder.
Yeah.
We went and we were like, oh, okay. So this was around COVID time too. The stairs were used with. So usually they have like a 2x4 that they cut and they do the stairs framing and everything like that. And it was done with leftover pieces. Okay. And they had crushed, they had sawed it from the top, and they used 2 or 3 pieces to put it together to build the framing of the stairs. And I always go in during framework. I always go in during electrical, plumbing, whenever, and I encourage my clients during every process, go in and preview, take pictures, do everything and anything possible. This is your home you're going to be living in. You want it to be done right. And so I caught something that I wish I had not, and we requested the builder to redo the whole entire thing, and they did. They did it everything correctly. They sent us pictures of it being done. I went and checked on it. Everything was done correctly after. But God knows how many other people did not do that. I hope they're safe. I hope they're okay. I don't know if they went with a realtor or not for their home purchase. So new home build, existing home build, anything to do with homes, go with a professional. We know what we're doing. We're here for your best interest. We are here for, we're just here to take the headache away, because we've dealt with it for so long. So we're here to take care of you. And then at that point, it's just like, I give an example where it's like when you're selling a car, I don't know, for me, it's more convenient to just go to like CarMax and just sell it to them, or to like a car dealer and just sell it to them, because then I'm not held liable. I'm not held responsible. They do their own testing, they do their own fixing, whatever they have to, and then they sell it to another person. I don't want that to come back to me. Yeah. So it's the same way, like a realtor is there to protect you, to make sure. There's also like when a seller is looking to sell their property, we have a seller's real property disclosure. There's so many disclosures that we take care of, and then we send it over to the buyer's agent so they can review it with their client as well. Then there's home inspections. A lot of new home builds, basically, they are like, oh, you don't need an inspector, you don't need this. I get almost every single one of my buyers, I suggest them, I'm like, hey, I would recommend you to get an inspection done on these properties, and you will be surprised when we get their inspection report. Even with new home builds, there's a list of items, and it just basically they have to get them all fixed. Yeah. So it's best to have it before than after, when you're already moved into the house, and then you're like, oh, why is plumbing? There could be a million reasons. So it's best to get it before than after.
An unbiased opinion.
Unbiased,
right? Because everybody on the building team works for the builder. Yeah. And that's why we do appraisals on the
I was just going to say that.
Right?
Yes,
it's an unbiased
opinion. You want an appraisal done on every single property. Even new home builds, they have an appraisal done, because yes, they inflate their pricing, but it's based on your upgrades, what you end up doing. So like one of my clients was like, oh, I want to do like quartz countertop, I want to do this. Their upgrades that they ended up doing, the max was 80,000, they were almost at 120. So I'm like, I'm just letting you know, you can do all these upgrades you want, but you will be paying out of pocket the difference. Mm-hmm. So when I said that to them, all of a sudden it's like, oh, no, we're not doing this, we're not doing that. We won't. Be reasonable. And then if you had gone without a realtor, I don't know if that salesperson would be honest up front with you. And then when it comes closing, your lender will only approve, or their lender actually will only approve a certain amount, and then you would have to be out of pocket for the difference.
Yeah.
So,
which is consumer protective again. It's the appraisal value. If you are willing to pay over, we, as a lending company say, okay, you can do that, but you have to have the cash reserved to do that, just to protect you and have it be a cash decision in your life at that time. Yeah.
I always say rather be safe than sorry. So why not hire a realtor who has your best interest in mind, and a lender that's going to work for your best interest as well.
Yeah. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. And then, so that explains why you should hire a realtor. Once again, I want to remind everyone that we are having our buyer seminar on December 2nd at 11 a.m.
It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday, so no excuse. If you want to learn more about, wealth building and everything, we will have another seminar, I think, end of...
Yeah, we'll just make it ongoing.
Ongoing?
I think so.
Okay.
I think it'll be great.
Yeah, because I also, so as a realtor, and we own investment properties, we own our businesses and stuff, I always recommend people to have at least 7 sources of income coming in. Does not always have to be real estate. It could be stock. It could be anything that you're comfortable with or you're knowledgeable about. It could be owning a business. I met someone who started a vending machine business, and they're making really good money. Good for them. But there could be so many layers of income coming in. So don't just, get stuck in one process, or, just learn. Just keep growing with your, with the environment that you're in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And with the resources that you have,
Correct.
make the most of them.
Correct.
Yeah.
Guys, please don't forget, like, we are still reading our feeds. So if you have any questions right now while we're talking, because we have 5 more minutes left. So if you have any questions, just keep them going, and we'll answer them while we're reading the feed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about the NAR lawsuit at all, or? There's been an initial judgment. It's kind of one of those Fed questions where it's complex, but
Yeah.
there might be some changes moving forward with buyer
brokers, yeah.
which I think I'll just make it more clear, really, who represents who fairly, and the funds that are coming down. But if you catch a glimpse of that in the media, don't use it as an excuse not to invest in real estate, because it's really, I was a realtor back in the 90s. When I was 22, so
we don't
94, a long time ago. And that conversation, when I was first a realtor, we all worked for the seller.
Yeah.
No one represented the buyer. It was all, what did the seller want? Okay, let's kowtow towards the seller.
It was all listing, yeah.
And then during maybe 98, the buyer broker conversation came in, and I thought, wow, this is so great. I can legally protect my client on the buy side, and I don't have to disclose any information to the seller. I don't have to tell him or her anything. So it's just an ongoing kind of evolution throughout the ages now at this point in real estate, that don't let it bother you. If the media gets wind of anything that seems a little unsteady, they like to make a big deal out of it. And really, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion, put a negative spin on it. Which, if you focus on the naysayers and the negativity, you will stunt your own growth. So don't let them get to you. If you have specific questions, ask us. We'll, if we don't have the answer, again, we'll do the research for you. But don't worry about it as a buyer or a seller at this time in the marketplace.
And as you know, all my clients either buy or sell. You sign either a buyer brokerage agreement with me if you're looking to buy, or you sign an exclusive sale contract, listing contract with me. So I stick to my rule. I'm like, nope, I do everything the way it's supposed to. The reason behind it is because I work for your best interest. So if there's an agent, and there could be an agent out there who basically is like, yeah, I'll show you like 30 homes, I'll do this, I'll do that, and that is the way they work. That's not the way I work. I stick to the way I work because I want it to be professional. Would you go out there hiring just any Joe? No, you would want the best. So that's how I look at it, as I want to represent you the best, and the best way I can represent you is if you have a buyer's brokerage agreement with me. The other thing people are always discussing, oh, how is the commission? How is this? How is that? If you are finding your dream home, and if I'm doing everything the way I'm supposed to, and you know, at the end of the day, you're happy with my service and sending me referrals, that is the best compliment you can be giving me. And I'm so grateful and, knock on wood, thankful for getting all the referrals coming in, where people are like, oh my God, you don't want to work with anyone else but Naz, or you don't want, you know, so that's what I like hearing, and that's the best compliment, I guess, even surpasses any form of monetary payment out there. So I want to do right by you. So we would work together based on your needs, not my needs, your needs. So that's the bottom line. So
nothing changes.
Nothing changes for me. It might change for a lot of other agents because they're freaking out and they're like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? I've always done things the way I'm supposed to. Even family, they're like, really, you're going to make a signed buyer brokerage agreement? Yes, I do. Even my broker was like, you know, you just continue doing what you're doing. And I'm like, thank you. So for me, it's very standard the way I do things. It's very, I'm very detailed oriented in that sense. And I don't like to bend the rules, and that's that aspect of things.
Bending the rules gets a little tricky. And
like,
it's not, you know, it's not stability, and that's the goal.
Correct. Like if you I always give this as an example. Let's say you go and interview for a job, right? And they're like, okay, you're hired, but they don't make you sign any contract. They don't make you sign anything. And they're like, okay, that's your desk, that's your work, that's nothing is guaranteed. You could be there for like a month working for free because
Yeah.
you didn't sign anything. So that's how I look at it as. And the benefit of hiring a realtor that gets you to sign a buyer brokerage agreement or that gets you to sign a listing agreement, it just shows their professionalism.
Yeah.
Plus, on top of that, you don't pay if we aren't able to get you your dream home or if we aren't able to get you a closing.
Yeah.
So even with a listing, you don't like, there's so many layers of things that people don't understand. And that's why I'm like, meet with us, talk to us.
Yeah.
Don't just assume that, you know, everyone's the same. So we bring forward, basically, we're as candid as it can get. We're very transparent.
Absolutely.
And I set out all the paperworks up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is the way to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, get it knocked out, and then it's really clear who you're working for, and you don't get into hot water. And one of the wonderful things about Naz is that her communication is so crystal clear, and honorable and respectful of all parties, that she doesn't get into sticky situations. Yeah, maybe sticky situations with the stairs not being framed correctly, right?
Correct.
Something coming back on an inspection, but it's going to be handled to the best possible scenario because of the way that she works, and it's from the get-go.
And I have clients literally reaching out to me like years later, hey Naz, this is the situation, this, you know, this happened, whatever. And if I have the information, I do direct them. If I don't, I find out the information and I get it for them. I had one client basically said they're ready to buy their next home, but they don't know how to go about it. And I'm like, perfect, we got you the first home, now let's move you to the next. But before we do that, why are you looking to move? There could be a million reasons why they want to get the kids into the right schooling area, or they're relocating, or anything along those lines. So there goes, I guess I do a lot of background questions prior to getting you for it.
Yeah, because the why matters.
Big time.
Yeah.
The why does matter.
Yeah, it's like, don't forget
your why changes every year. So Farwood and I do a big why, and we set our ground rules. That's our wealth building kind of thing. Every, I would say, October we meet. We do our budgeting for the next 2024 year.
Yeah.
And then we do a P&L, which is profit and loss. Basically how much we need to set aside for everything, and that includes our kids, our businesses, our everything. Taxes, yay. Yeah. And so that's what we do. And then come November, we're like, okay, now is our vision board. And he gets to have his own vision board, I get to have my own vision board, and then we have a family vision board. Because I believe as a family, we do grow together when we have our own vision. For me, it was, I need to do like once a week something for myself, where it's like me going for an hour of hiking or me doing something that will heal me, and he does the same for him. So it's very crucial for people to have a separate vision board and a family vision board. And then come December, we set our big why. Like, why do we want to do this? Why do we want to accomplish this in the next year or the next 5 years? And when you do it as a family, it basically shakes the ground, where you're like, oh, okay, so this is your big why, interesting. And then so for me, the big why in 2024, I think I'm ready to say it, is basically take care of my health. That's very crucial for me, is just waking Naz up and going back to taking care of my health. So if you see a lot of posts about my health stuff, you know why. and that is basically it.
In January. Right?
Yeah, everyone does that. That's our card said. He's like, you're gonna fall back out in February. And I'm like, no.
I'll be your accountability partner.
Okay, good. So that's another thing. Have an accountability partner. A lot of people don't understand the importance of an accountability partner.
It's the most important. We were, my son is a teenager and working through learning how to manage procrastination. And I showed him this really funny TED talk about having, you know, everybody has like a rational thinking part of their mind, and then you have like the instant gratification monkey that's over here, right? And then you have the panic monster. So I think an application I was kind of thinking through in my head is that everybody is rational, right? You can look at the data, you can look at, in 20 years, you're going to be glad that you took the steps to buy that house and invest, buy your next house and invest. Absolutely you are. But this little instant gratification monkey is in everyone's brain over there, and the instant gratification monkey wants the dinner out, wants the trip to the Bahamas or wherever, Mexico. The instant gratification wants the purse. And so there's this third component, and these are obviously not technical terms, but it was the panic monster. And he used an example of writing a paper. But I've been chatting recently with a lot of seniors.
Yeah.
That maybe they owned a home in the past, but they had rented, and so now they're in this rental market where the rents are increasing. Those are supposed to stabilize over the next few years. And the reason they're stabilizing is only because the builders are building so many multifamilies because we're in a housing shortage, which stabilizes resale prices, right? Yeah. So it's a great time and a great reason to invest. But those multifamily, those rents are supposed to come down, and the apartment complexes is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, but I've spoken with so many seniors that have this third little brain component waking up in their lives, and it's called the panic monster.
Yeah.
And they're on fixed income now. They have been renting, their rent's going up $300, $400 a month, and they don't have the steps in line. They haven't done the homework. They've been over here on the instant gratification monkey, and of course, being in Las Vegas, a lot of them love to go to the casino and spend the day there, and they'll go to the buffet and they'll play, gamble money away. So everybody, I think, in this economy especially, if we could just hear the instant gratification monkey, but then really just spend some time with that rational decision maker and work with us and look at your long-term goals and where you're going to be in 5 years, where you're going to be in 7 and 10 years. If you stick on a path, if you don't have any savings right now, and you stick on the instant gratification path, or maybe you need a job change, whatever it is, but if it's instant gratification, it's delaying something that it's hard work you don't want to do. You're going to be so much more secure and stable, and that's what we want for you. Is just a stable, secure, healthy community and country.
Having your goals is the most important thing. And I always emphasize vision board. That's how we connected. We connected through vision board.
Because I did a class.
Yes, and we connected through there. And I've been doing vision board for almost 5 years now. And if I look at my first, and I keep them all, and if I look at my first vision board compared to now, I feel like I've accomplished at least 80% of the goals that I have set. Some were very unrealistic, but I still put it on there. And those are the reason why I do that is because I don't want, I guess I don't want anything to create self-doubt, and I don't want to live life with regrets. So that's why I emphasize vision. It can be on your cell phone. You can just grab pictures from here or there, whatever, like, your dream. I always give example of, like, your dream house. It's okay to have that big elaborate home with the big pool, with the big kitchen that's indoor and outdoor, where you open the sliding doors and you can entertain both sides of the I guess the indoor and outdoor. It's okay to have that on your vision board. It's okay. It doesn't mean it will happen right away, but it can be on your vision board, and I guarantee you in 5-10 years from now, you go back and look at your first vision board and you'll be like, oh my God, I'm standing in my dream house. And that's what I love. That's what I've always emphasized that. So create a vision board. This month, November, is the best time to collect all the things that you want to expect or what you want to see improve in your life. It could be an amazing, healthy routine, or it could be meal prepping or whatever. Just put it on there. It could be your dream shoes. I'm a woman, I'm sorry. It could be your dream closet. It could be anything. Work your way through it. And when you accomplish those, you feel successful. And then you feel like, okay, I can move up. And then, nothing will feel impossible at that time.
Oh, that's what my sign says.
I know, that's why I just said,
yes. It says, it always seems impossible until it's done. It's a Mandela quote. And that's really a driver in my life. It's, there's situations, people that we've helped. I had a security officer that was working 2 jobs. Her night security job, she took her son and he slept in the car while she worked. She never thought she was going to be able to own a home because other lenders had told her no, but we worked together and got her everything in place, her ducks in a row, I would say, and she bought her first home.
I love that.
I know. So it's why we're here. And speaking about accountability partners, let us be your accountability partners. Reach out and say, hey, this is a goal of mine. and work with us, and we will keep in touch with you, not harassing levels
Yeah.
of contact, but just, hey, when do you want to talk next?
Yeah.
When do you think you can get these task items done?
Yeah.
And we'll be there for you to hold your hands along the way.
Yeah.
And nothing lights up our lives more than helping people achieve homeownership. It's really why we
I agree.
work so hard every
Yeah.
single day, loving what we
love
do
that.
because we love helping people.
Yeah.
So-
And I just want to add and piggyback on that. I actually had a client of mine whose credit score was so terrible because of her ex, who ended up ruining her credit score
Happens all the time.
so badly.
Yeah.
And basically she could not even get anything. And so I sat down, we went through, and I usually don't do this. I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not anything, but we sat down and we went through her monthly expenditures. What does she,